Let's try that again. The Committee on Employment and Workplace Safety will come to order. Today we're discussing the future of AI and its impact on the workforce. One of our expectations is to show that there's nothing to be afraid of in this future. Ranking Member Braun and I will each give an opening statement. Then we'll introduce the witnesses. And after the witnesses give their testimony, senators will have 5 minutes for a round of questions. Now, it's no secret that artificial intelligence is having a moment in all of our lives in myriad ways, and the workplace is certainly no exception. Just yesterday, President Biden signed an executive order focused on AI governance, a critical step in our nation's overall approach to how we integrate AI into a larger and larger parts of our life. This is just the beginning. To make sure our workforce is positioned for success, we want to know how AI is being adopted and how AI is being used in the workplace. This is going to help us understand how we can ensure that workers are trained, that they have a sufficient training, and that they're empowered to maximize the potential of this rapidly evolving technology. According to a recent Pew study, nearly 6 in 10 workers, when they were contacted, had interacted with an AI system or application in their workplace just in the last year. And we know that that's just the beginning. This number will continue to rise. AI technology has been a part of our daily lives for years, from my phone's text suggestion functions to search engines' ability to recommend top results. But now, generative AI systems like ChatGPT are coming to the stage where they can assist us with writing our emails, making travel plans, quickly analyzing large data sets, even increasing the artwork we surround ourselves with. This technology has the potential to positively alter the way that literally all of us work. But I think we have an imperative to do it right, to make sure we're not making missteps as we move so rapidly in this direction. I think working together and including workers in that conversation is essential. Maybe that's the most important point we can make today. Many people think of movies where AI replaces humanity. I think the reality in many cases will be that AI will work hand in hand with the workforce, the people that are actually doing the work. And, just look at some of the most popular AI applications we're seeing, how they're being used. ChatGPT is great, but it requires input from a worker who has a combination of subject matter expertise and a decent level of AI literacy. He's got to be able to give the system clear and direct prompts, make sure that it's being directed properly. He's got to monitor the output for inaccuracies that are not as rare as they hopefully will become. And this is all part of why it makes it so important that we make sure that our workers across all industries are active partners in this transition. We should make sure that we help our workers to gain the relevant and essential skills, to gain the training that they're going to need to be able to succeed in this transition. In some ways, it's a tale as old as time. We don't call plumbers just because a wrench is hard to use. We call them because they've mastered how to use that wrench to solve all manner of problems, and they've learned how to recognize the essential elements of each specific problem. Now, Bob Dylan and I both play the banjo, but even if we pluck the same notes, I think you'd recognize that you'd be missing the magic if you weren't listening to Bob. He and any great musician bring a certain order and magic to what they do, no different than what a plumber does when he walks in and can unravel the most complex issues in your house. So whatever the tools are, it's still workers that are using them and creating the magic. And their skills, their training is what's going to make the difference. And that's why we've got to find smart workforce development opportunities around AI that are inclusive, that lift up the skills of all our workers to make sure that everyone thrives. Everyone has the opportunity to create their own better future, their own career. Today's hearing is going to provide an opportunity for us to hear from some terrific experts who've been considering AI implementation in a variety of contexts and have direct experience of, how these efforts to train and upskill our workers are succeeding and some of the challenges we face. Our goal today is to walk away with a better understanding of what AI integration looks like in workplaces around different industries, the role of both public and private sector leaders in fostering AI literacy and making sure that the training of the workforce of tomorrow continues unimpeded. What more needs to be done at a federal level to make sure we all get it right. I think this subcommittee is uniquely positioned to help identify how employers and workers can best understand and maybe more importantly, leverage the AI tools that are at our disposal. After all, I think every member in this room wants to make sure that AI technology remains a treat, not a trick. Before I introduce our panel of witnesses, I'd also like to ask for unanimous consent to enter 2 letters into the record, one from IBM and one from the National Security Council. No objections? Without objection, with that, I'd like to welcome each of our witnesses who are joining us today. Tyrance Billingsley is the founder and executive director for Black Tech Street, based in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There he is leading the initiative's community-based approach to tech innovation and the economic development that leads to. Feet on the ground, real-life experiences. Josh Lannon is the Vice President of Productivity Technologies at Workday from my home state of Colorado. There he leads Workforce's team through production of tech products, including AI technology systems. Workday's been a leader in adapting AI literally from before people were even talking about AI. Mary Kate Morley Ryan serves as the Managing Director of Talent and Organization at Accenture, one of the leaders in the country in terms of facilitating the acquisition of the skills and necessary to deal successfully with AI. At Accenture, she's focused on researching workforce transformation and inclusion in the future of work. Now I'll recognize Ranking Member Braun to make his opening remarks and then to introduce our final witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All of you for being here, and look forward to introducing you in a moment. Senator Hickenlooper and I come from a unique background, unusual for most individuals in the U.S. Senate. We actually spent a lot of time in the real world before we got here. We ran businesses. We were entrepreneurs by trade. And I look at the 37 years that I spent with a little business. I mean, it was so hard scrabble. It was 17 years with 15 employees. But when I knew I had a tiger by the tail, that's when I had to start confronting technology and the always extreme cost of it. And I'm talking about dollars spent to get the latest and greatest. Because in year 17, we were on Radio Shack. I can tell you now that we employ a lot of custom coders. That little business grew from a regional one, then a national one, with locations in most states. You learn a lot there. I learned to generally always say to my chief technology officer, which is my older son, my younger son runs the business as the CEO and CFO. We just quit saying no to that latest and greatest technology because we've leveraged it so well to differentiate ourselves from the competition. So we're looking at AI. Would you do the same? Well, being an entrepreneur, when I watch to see whatever's hitting the market across the spectrum of our economy, and I've heard it forewarned by the people that put it out there more than anything I've ever observed in my time of being someone looking for that leading edge. What's that next best way to do something? So it brings us to an interesting crossroads with something that looks like it can do so much, that can be so beneficial, but also looks like the malfeasance that could come from it, forewarned by the people that know the most about it, it should give you pause. I'm very concerned that we don't smother it. I think that we could do that easily. Generally, we over-regulate here. We get bureaucrats and folks that don't know how to get from here to there in the real world, making all the rules. So we got to be careful about that. What we see it can do and what we are being warned about that it may be used for the wrong purpose, to me, is the essence of the journey that we're on. All I can tell you is we're a lot more productive now in my own business now that we've got the greatest and latest technology. I remember back when we were doing orders by hand on a Radio Shack system. That is why I think in weighing how we get through this, we've got to err on the side of letting it breathe, letting it show what it can do, but also take into consideration what the people that know the most about it are giving us as a admonition to be careful with it. So I think that's where we are today, and as we apply it to how we can use it in the workforce, our economy grows by how much productivity we can leverage on the people that are in it itself. And over time, we've always come into confrontations to where we are worried about what it's going to do to the economy because it will displace jobs. This is a little different because it can get into areas of creativity. You already see things like patent trolling. You see things that are trying to rob people of their what they've created in other arenas in our economy. So I think there's a lot there to be worried about. I do believe that hearings like this, and they're going to have many more in the Congress, are key to putting some type of framework of common sense regulation around it, keeping full in mind that we don't want to smother something that could be so beneficial to all of us. I'll yield back.
Thank you, Senator Braun. And Ranking Member, I appreciate that perspective. And it is unusual in the Senate to have a chair and a co-chair that are both entrepreneurs. There are not as many entrepreneurs in our Congress as there used to be for whatever reason.
Need to be more, don't you think?
Well, that's a bias we shouldn't be ashamed of. All right, now for our opening remarks. I'll go from order from left to right.
Introduce the next witness. Are you going to do that?
Oh,
later?
yes, I'm sorry. No, you do it now.
Yeah. My pleasure to introduce Bradford Newman. Mr. Newman is a litigation partner resident in Baker McKenzie's Palo Alto office and chair of the North American Trade Secrets practice. Mr. Newman routinely advises and represents the world's leading technology, banking, professional service, manufacturing, and commerce companies in connection with their most significant data protection and trade secret matters. That's a lot. Among other subjects, Mr. Newman specializes in matters related to AI. He is the chair of the AI subcommittee of the American Bar Association and has been instrumental in proposing federal AI workforce legislation as well as developing AI oversight and corporate governance best practices designed to ensure algorithmic fairness. Mr. Newman was also recognized as one of the top 20 AI attorneys in California in 2019. We welcome his expertise to the conversation today.
Welcome to you all. Appreciate that. I apologize, Mr. Newman, for slipping, moving to, I hit fast forward accidentally. So we'll start with Mr. Billingsley to give your opening remarks and then go down the line.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm appreciative to the Subcommittee on Employment and Workplace Safety for this opportunity to testify here. My name is Tyrance Billingsley II, and I'm the founder and executive director of Black Tech Street, an initiative to rebirth historic Black Wall Street as a Black innovation economy and catalyze a movement that sees Black Americans embrace technology as a wealth-building and global impact mechanism. Black Tech Street was founded when I asked myself the question, what could Black Wall Street have been had it been supported and not destroyed? When I thought about the level of tenacity that it took for these Black entrepreneurs to build successful businesses during Jim Crow in my hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma, I immediately saw parallels with the tech industry, and not long after, I came to a three-pronged epiphany. One, tech is one of the only industries in which intergenerational wealth is generated in 7 to 10 years via successful company exit. Two, tech is the core medium through which all global innovation takes place. And three, by the year 2030, there were projected to be as many as 4.3 million vacant, high-paying tech jobs due to a tech talent shortage. After considering these three things, I not only saw an incredible wealth-building opportunity for Black Americans, but I also saw the Black Wall Street vision pushed to a new horizon. I surmised that if had Black Wall Street been supported and not destroyed, it would have been nothing other than the nation's premier Black innovation economy. Focusing on the three verticals of cybersecurity, business intelligence, data analytics, and responsible artificial intelligence, Black Tech Street was founded on the premise that technology presents unparalleled economic opportunity. The key word here is responsible AI. And back in Oklahoma, we are taking a community-first approach and not just relying on big tech to address how AI can be a responsible tool for the benefit of communities and entrepreneurs. To that end, our organization has brokered a holistic alliance with Microsoft to support the creation of 1,000 Black cyber and cyber-adjacent professionals in Tulsa by the year 2030. We facilitated the participation of over 70 Black Tulsans in the largest public AI red teaming exercise alongside Seed AI at DEF CON 31. And we co-led the Tulsa Hub for Equitable and Trustworthy Autonomy Consortium that recently received a U.S. Economic Development Agency Regional Tech Hubs designation alongside Tulsa Innovation Labs and the George Kaiser Family Foundation. While we believe that all of our work is critical, the conversation around AI is on an entirely different level of urgency and importance. Artificial intelligence will not just disrupt lives, it will remake the world. Perhaps most urgently, AI will fundamentally transform the workforce, which is the lifeblood of any well-functioning society and economy. In truth, the workforce will be the first area where we truly see the transformative power of AI at scale, whether this be in the innovation economy, the creative economy, or one of the many other facets. Whether or not we ensure AI secures a beneficial arrangement for people in the future of work will set a precedent for how AI is administered in all facets of life. If the systems for AI in the workforce are designed in a human-centered way, AI could be a tool to fundamentally alter the socioeconomic position of marginalized communities in this country, or it could exacerbate pre-existing inequities in a way that are almost irreparable. To that end, I believe there are 4 critical guidelines that can help us ensure that the future of work built by AI is safe, equitable, and beneficial for the American worker and economy. 1, approach the regulation of AI and the issues that surround it in the workforce, and more broadly, as a socio-technical issue. Complex or wicked socio-technical issues are problems that resist solution despite repeated attempts, are difficult to describe or predict, are not addressable by single individuals or organizations, are not addressable in a single intervention and require multiple coordinated interventions, and the most critical question in them is discerning where to focus, followed by what to do, when, and how. 2, develop a worker-centered AI social contract for the workforce that defines the rules of use and engagement as they relate to AI for both employees and employers, is rooted in framing and incentivizing AI as a co-pilot to enhance human creativity, productivity, and output, sets the precedent for policies and systems that define how AI can and should be used in relation to workers as the most critical aspect of the future of work instead of just what the technology can do. And finally, displays a stable framework for using AI to unleash human potential in a way that also leads to better profit and performance for companies. 3, over-index and incentivize training and education programs that target people of color and communities that have been historically left out of the technological revolution. 4, develop the framework for AI and the future of work in a way that strengthens the intersection between workforce and high growth as well as small business entrepreneurship. I believe that these 4 guiding principles and the inclusion of communities like Tulsa in these conversations will be the keys to ensuring that we utilize AI to build a future of work that unleashes the true potential of the labor force and powers the American economy of the 21st century. Thank you very much.
Thank you very